Jai Gurudev. Jai Masters. The quality of one's life is not measured by what they have or what they've done or what people think of them or what they leave behind. It's measured by what you're experiencing inside throughout your life. If you accomplish all sorts of things, but you're sad, you're not happy, you're judgmental, you haven't lived a good life. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how many people respect you. It doesn't make any difference. If you're filled with love, if you're filled with joy and passion and ecstasy, every moment of your life, you lived a full life. Simple as that. Understand, when you die, nothing's coming with you. That should be a clue, all right? How can that be the meaning of something if it has no meaning? It's gone. It's nothing. The purpose of your life is your inner growth, not the outer stuff. The outer stuff, it's like, I used to use this example. Let's say you hurt your hands and you need to go to physical therapy. And one thing they have you do is make ashtrays. They do that, you know that, okay? Because it's good to squish your hands into that clay and move them around. And in the end, it doesn't matter whose ashtray is the best. It matters whose hands work better. That's life. This out here is clay. Want to make an ashtray? If it causes you to grow, if you become greater inside, if you become wholer, if you become more filled with love, then it was a beautiful ashtray. It doesn't matter what it looks like. That's the truth. Now, why doesn't that seem like the truth? Let's be honest. Because the truth is that if something outside happens that makes you feel love inside, you say that's the meaning of life. What, love? No, that made you feel it. There, now go home. Do you understand that? You do that all the time. That's what you do. What will make me feel love? What will make me feel passion? What will make me inspired? And then that becomes the meaning of life. I'm a computer scientist, so that's called indirection. Any of you know computers, programming? That's indirection. You're basically saying, to get what I want inside, I have to get something outside. That's conditional being. That's indirect. It's not true, period. There's a reason that you experience it as true, but that is not the whole truth. So it is certainly true, and no reason to take it away from you, that if you get what you want, you feel better inside. Anywhere from, okay, I'm not as depressed, to, hey, this is fun, to, wow, this is the nicest experience I ever had in my whole life. I want more of these. Can you relate? Fine. You needed an outside situation in order for you to experience what's going on inside of you. Why? We'll discuss that. Well, first, do you need an outside situation in order to experience the beauty inside of you? No. Period. No. There's a reason that you're in a state now that you do, that's what you experience. I'm not denying that. But that's like saying, I'm sick, so I need Alka-Seltzer or Pepto-Bismol. If you eat things that make you sick, then you need stuff to compensate for that. So we're going to talk about the meaning of life. It's not hard. If I say to you the meaning of life is having a beautiful marriage, if I say the meaning of life is having wonderful children, saying the meaning of life is having lots of money, so you don't have to think about anything, the meaning of life is having your own private jet, you can fly over the world, do anything you want, you're smiling. Don't. Okay? Because you're not saying that. It's not true. If you had a private jet and you could fly all over the world, but the person you love just died, you don't want to go anywhere. The jet and visiting places and having experiences, you only like them because they cause you to feel good inside. Then why are you saying you want the outside thing when what you really want is the inside thing? In other words, I want to get rid of indirection. I want to say, if what you want is inside, then do that. Do what brings that inside. Work with it inside. If you pray to God for something, do this in the new book, in Living Untethered. If you pray to God for something and sit there and say, oh my God, I want to have a relationship that's so beautiful and I want to live somewhere and not have financial problems. What, are you crazy? Why would you pray for that? What if it doesn't work? You took a crapshoot. You get one wish. Go on, make it. I want to marry him. Okay, good luck. You better be right. Why don't you sit there and say, what I really want is to feel love all the time. I want to feel inspired all the time. I want to feel turned on all the time. I want to feel passion all the time, period. Now, that's something to ask God, isn't it? You think God can't give you that? That's what that is inside of you. That which they call God is what I just talked to you about. That's a nice God, isn't it? Passion, love, excitement, enthusiasm, that is God. Now, all right, do this. The source of love, the source of passion, the source of inspiration is God. Sunlight is beautiful as opposed to darkness. The source of light is way up there, isn't it? 93 million miles away. The source of passion, the source of inspiration, the source of love, it flows from inside. The source is not the person that makes you feel love. That's a stimulus which allows you to feel what's already inside of you. Same thing with traveling, same thing with every single thing you do, everything you buy. It somehow stimulates you so that you feel this stuff inside. What a great being and a spiritual being does is sit there and say, wait a minute, I'm experiencing this inside of me. Why do I need you or anything outside to let me feel what's going on inside of me? When you feel love, where do you feel it? On your toes? Your nose? It's inside, isn't it? It's an inner experience. When you feel passion, what is passion? I'm talking about lust now. There's a big difference between lust and passion. Don't get confused here, right? Passion is energy rising up inside of you, overwhelming you, isn't it? It's beautiful. It's inside. You don't need things outside to experience what's going on inside. So that basically you start to understand that the meaning of life is what you want it to be. It is about love. It is about passion. It is about inspiration. It is about high, real high, energy rushing up in. What is high? Real high is energy rushing up inside of you, sweeping you away to where you can't even be there. It just overcomes you and you get blown away. I like those words, 60s words. I got blown away. Inside, it can do that, can't it? Music can do that to you. Love can do that to you. The sunset can do that to you. You have the ability to be blown away inside. Anybody like being blown away inside? Okay, that's the meaning of life. Isn't that nice to find out? That's the meaning of life, and that is God. But they use the word God, what you're experiencing inside, when all that energy rushes up inside, be it love energy or passionate energy or whatever, it's energy rushing up inside. That energy is God. That energy is spirit, let's call it that. And literally, by the way, this is, of course, my own interpretation, when they talk about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Now, I'm a nice Jewish boy. I shouldn't talk about that, but it's okay. There's a Jewish boy's interpretation of Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Okay? What is the Father? The source of all energy. It's E equals MC squared. Einstein got it. God equals MC squared. This is a quantum field. It's the cause of all of creation. It's omnipresent energy that manifested everything. There it is. That's the Father. It's consciousness that's aware of itself all over the universe. What's the Son? When that consciousness focuses to create human, if you will, the same consciousness focuses down on your mind, your heart, your body. It's the same consciousness. There's only one consciousness. And I want you to think of it as universal consciousness. I want you to think of the source of your consciousness is consciousness. There's an ocean of consciousness, and that's what's looking down. The moment that universal absolute oneness focuses down on individuality, at that moment, that's the Son, S-O-N. It generated its offspring, okay? But it's still, the rays of sun that fall on the earth are still connected to the Sun. That's where it's coming from, isn't it? Okay, there's the Sun. Now what's the Holy Spirit? When those rays of light, consciousness, light, same thing, when those rays, let's take light for a moment. So you have the sun in the sky out there emanating light. Then you have the light beams, that which it emanated, and then they fall on objects. What happens when the sunlight falls on an object? It heats the object. It lights the object and heats the object. It doesn't become the object, but it passes its energy onto the object. That's the Holy Spirit. That's what happens when consciousness of the divine focuses down. That connection is, my Father and I are one. It's all the same thing. When it hits you, it brings life to this body. The energy passes on to it. And so you are that consciousness. but you're paying attention to the object that the consciousness is falling on. Your body, your thoughts, your mind, your emotions, those are what you're conscious of. But because the consciousness emanates itself, its sense of being, its sense of knowing itself, onto the object, just like the sunlight passes its heat and its light onto the object. It doesn't become the object. You don't become what you look at. You're still the consciousness. But that's a really beautiful way to look at Father, Son, and they say the Holy Ghost. What is the Holy Ghost? The Holy Spirit. The Spirit inside of you. So what you feel as the energy inside of you is that energy which emanates from the Absolute. And so that's why they say, my Father and I are one. And it's very important to understand these things. So the fact that you feel joy inside, you should feel joy inside. Just as the sunlight falls on an object, the object should feel warm. It should have light shining on it, because that's what's happening. You are that consciousness. In the yoga scriptures, teachings way back, they give a name for God. Satchidananda. Eternal conscious ecstasy. Now that's a nice God. Eternal conscious ecstasy. That is the nature of God. And they have a word for the individual soul. What is that? Satchidananda. Exact same name. Why? They are the same thing. That consciousness that is ecstasy is coming down and falling into you, and that is the ecstasy that you feel. It's very important to understand this. That what's wrong then? The problem is you're blocked. Your consciousness, instead of looking up and experience where it came from, it's looking down onto the object of mind, emotions, body, the object that you're conscious of. And then it gets identified with that. It knows itself as the body. It knows itself as the thoughts. It knows itself as the emotions. But it's not. Those are things you experience. They're not who you are. You are the one that experiences them. So basically, the reason you don't feel ecstasy, now understand, you are naturally in ecstasy. You are naturally there. That's your natural state. You don't have to do a thing. Those rays that are falling on the object are still part of the sun. They're all connected. They will never not be connected. So you are the greatest thing ever walked the face of the earth. Well, why don't I feel it? You're looking in the wrong direction. You're looking down instead of looking back to see where you came from. And when you look down, you see the objects. And then consciousness has this quality of identifying itself. Like God said, I am that I am. What does that mean? I identify with myself. All right? Those are funny words. I am that I am. That's what I am. I'm the I am. There's nothing else to talk about. I identify with that which I am. Well, your consciousness falls down and you identify with your body, don't you? You identify with your emotions. You identify with your thoughts. So you're identifying with the objects of consciousness instead of with the consciousness itself. That's why you don't feel ecstasy, because you're staring at something that's not ecstatic. You who's staring at it happen to be ecstatic. Right at this very moment, if you turn back and looked at where you came from, you'd pass out in ecstasy, total ecstasy. That is the nature of your being. That's who you are. You don't have to do anything. In fact, it's because you're doing things that you don't experience it. So what happens? If I'm looking down at my body and I'm identifying with my body and somebody gives me a nice massage, I feel better. Because the body feels better, that which I'm identifying with feels better. If I'm in the presence of somebody who loves me and dotes all over me, I'm now paying attention to something that's beautiful, to something that's emanating love. Therefore, my consciousness is aware of an object that is love. So I feel love. Your consciousness will experience whatever it's focused on. That's like saying 1 equals 1. Your consciousness will experience whatever it's focused on. What else could it experience? So you focus on something. If I focus on a picture and it's dark, then I see darkness. If I focus on a picture and it's light, then I see light. If I focus on a body and it's feeling good, then I feel good. If I focus on a body and it's feeling bad, I feel bad. If I focus on thoughts that are negative and dark, then I feel dark and negative. If I focus on thoughts that are beautiful and high, I feel high. It's the simplest thing in the world. Your consciousness is conscious of whatever it's conscious of. Therefore, that's what you experience. Well, right now, what you experience is all the garbage that you stored inside yourself. Let's take a big quantum leap. What do you mean? Well, we talked about if your consciousness focuses on negativity, you feel negative. Have any of you, enough to raise your hand, have any of you ever had a bad experience in your life? Okay. Have you noticed that it's still there? The experience? No. The effect of the experience. You got divorced 20 years ago, you're still having the arguments, you still don't want to go where you used to eat, okay? You stored negativity inside of you. It's not natural. It's not supposed to be there. You're supposed to be experiencing what your consciousness is experiencing. Well, that event, somebody said something that hurt you, a bad experience, you broke your arm, you got in a car accident, whatever. That was happening at that time. That was the experience your consciousness was having. It's not happening anymore. That's what's kind of nice about experiences. They come and they go. None of them stay. Nothing has ever stayed. No atom has ever stayed in the same place for all of eternity. It's a happening place. The Buddhists say everything's transient. It just keeps moving. And then how come when you had a bad experience at some point in your life, it's still happening inside of you? It's still affecting you. Why is your consciousness still conscious of it if it's not happening? I'm serious. These are the real questions that matter. It's not happening anymore. Therefore, your consciousness is not aware of it. The problem is you stored it inside of you. Therefore, your mind will keep bringing it back up. Your emotions will keep bringing it back up. Therefore, your consciousness is still experiencing the experience. But it's not happening. I tell you, I wish I could just stop right there. It's pretty crazy to be conscious of something that's not there. Why is it still happening inside of you if it's not happening outside of you? And don't you dare give an excuse, because there is no excuse. You ate something bad 2 years ago. It gave you a stomach ache. You've never eaten it again. My stomach still hurts just thinking about it. It makes me sick. I can't stop thinking about it. It keeps bothering me. Well, no, that's not okay. I know I shouldn't have eaten it. No, you ate it 2 years ago. Fine, you make a mistake. Something happens. It should not still be in there. I'm going to say something to you that no one will say to you. There's nothing in there that makes it still be in there except you. I don't care what they tell you. There's no super glue. There's no flypaper. There's not a single thing inside your mind except the experience and whether you let it pass through or not. If it comes in, it passes through. That's the natural way of things. And it will just pass through, except you won't let it. Well, there's something else in there besides the experience. No, it's not even besides. I was going to talk honest. You have will. You have willpower. What does that mean? I want you to think of it as hands you have inside. Do you have hands inside yourself that you can push things away, that you can grab onto them, that you can like them and not like them? You're in there. Your consciousness has the ability of emanating power, and that power has the ability to hold things inside of you. I don't want to experience it. I didn't want to experience it to start with, and I sure as heck don't want to experience it anymore, so I'm going to keep it inside of me so I keep experiencing it. I'm going to make a collection of bad experiences. Have you not made a collection of bad experiences inside yourself? Okay, so now let's go back to consciousness. Consciousness is coming down, God, ecstasy, total, oh my God, I can't even talk about it, coming down, shining on your mind, your body, your heart, bringing awareness, consciousness to it. Well, what's it paying attention to? All the junk that you stored inside of you. That's what's coming up at all time, isn't it? You see something that reminds you of something, you think a thought, anything. And all of a sudden this stuff comes back up. What stuff? The stuff that's not happening anymore. Why? Because you stored it. You did this. Do you understand that? Like somebody once said something about, if a person has a traumatic experience, it's burned into their psyche, burned into their something, and they can't let it go, period. That's not true. What's true is there is consciousness, and it's whole and complete and empty, and it's able to absorb and experience whatever experience comes in through the senses, comes in, goes up the nerves don't know anything. Do you understand that? Your senses, your eyes are like a camera. Do you think the camera cares what it took a picture of? The camera is just a camera. It's just bringing in the light experience of the event. It comes in, it passes through the nerves don't care either. They won't see that, the scientists, until they get very high. Then you'll realize the nerves get disturbed for the same reason that anything gets disturbed if you resist it. If you resist the flow of water, it's really powerful. If you resist the flow of wind, I used that the other day. Hold plywood against a wind. What's happening? Your arms get tired, everything gets messed up. Resist what came in, and it backs up. And it causes all kinds of disturbance in your nervous system. Hear me? If you sit there and say, oh, what I saw was so terrible, I can't even, I can't see anymore. That's because you resisted it. Now, I'm not saying that people are capable of not resisting it, all right? I'm just talking about what the truth. The truth is, it is empty in there. Everything's able to come in and pass through if you're high enough, if you're open enough. But we're not. Then what happens is if it comes in and it's uncomfortable, you resist it. How would if I say that? Do you or do you not resist it? No, I can't handle this. I don't want to experience this. It's not fair. This shouldn't have happened. What's that called? Resistance. So it comes in and your consciousness doesn't want to be aware of it. But it happened. No. And so you have will in there, and you push it away so that it won't come all the way in. Because if it comes all the way in, you really feel it. You like it when the sunset's beautiful, you let it all the way in. You like it when the music is just like, oh my God, it blows you away. Why? Because you let it in. You like it when somebody hugs you, if you like them. Careful, the exact same hug, you call the police, all right? You laugh all you want. I'm telling you the truth. You have will in there. You can resist experiences, can't you? Why would you resist them? Because the closer they come to your consciousness, to your pure consciousness, the stronger they are. They're very strong experiences. Holding somebody who you love, or even being near them, can blow you away. You love that. It feels like, oh, it touched me so deep. It touched the depth of your being. Do you like that? Yes, if you like the vibration. If you resist the vibration, I keep it at a distance from... Do you keep things at a distance from yourself? Okay, you're pushing them away. When you push them away, everything that would happen if you resist energy happens. It hits, it bounces. Anybody, please? You have to be an engineer to understand if you resist the flow of energy, what happens? It hits the resistance, and it sparks, and it does all kinds of stuff. There's electricity right now flowing through the walls, through the wires in the walls. Just take something, a piece of metal, and stick it into the wire. That which was a beautiful flow becomes blown up. It becomes sparks. It catches fire. It makes noises. That's what happens inside of you. If you resist something that came in, why did it come in? Because it happened. It doesn't matter if it should have happened or shouldn't have happened. We can deal with that later. You deal with that after, when you're clear. Now, is there something I'm supposed to do about it? Not, I can't handle this. What does that mean, I can't handle this? It means it didn't happen? No, if it didn't happen, you wouldn't have any trouble handling it. So in other words, something actually happened, reality, and you can't handle it. Well, you're in trouble. Why? Because it happened. I'm sorry. But it shouldn't have. I'm sorry. It happened. And if you can't handle it, that means you're going to resist it. What it literally means when you say, I can't handle it, I can't let this come all the way into me and let it go. Everything else goes. I've told you this before. You guys are 99.9% enlightened. Seriously. I'm not making believe. You're 99.9, maybe you're 99.999. What does that mean? If you were to take a camera or some sort of machine that picked up what you pick up all day, you drive by trees, you drive by cars, you drive by white lines, there are clouds in the sky, there's the birds singing, there's all kinds of things going on. They pass right through. 99.9% of every single thing that comes in through your senses all day passes right through. What do you mean it passes through? You experience it. I experience life. I'm experiencing life. I'm not missing it. No, I'm not missing life. I saw the trees. I just didn't get stuck there. I didn't say, oh my God, that tree looks like the one I fell out of when I was little and broke my arm. I don't want to go drive down this road anymore. I don't even know if I want to stay in town because there's a road and I'll know there's a road. With a tree. In other words, I'm neurotic. That's how you get neurotic. You resist things. You won't let them come all the way through. But it's kind of nice, and I want you to think about that. Look how much makes it through. Almost everything makes it through, doesn't it? Then there's this tiny little bit, like 0.1%, that doesn't make it through. Why? Is there something so special about that 0.1? The camera doesn't think so. That it comes in through your eyes, which are cameras, passes up the wires of your nervous system, and tries to pass through. Why does it do that? So that you can experience it. You're in there. The consciousness comes in, and it will pass right through the consciousness unless you stop it. Now, have I lost anybody? It's true, isn't it? See, spirituality and all the deep teachings aren't so complicated, are they? You are in there. You're conscious of being in there, and you did not let this come in. Don't feel guilty. We're going to go deep into this. It's very human to have these problems. Trouble is, you're not a human. the consciousness that's experiencing a human. So basically it comes in, you can't handle it, but then you're in trouble. Because it happened. You're in trouble. And you were from I'm uncomfortable to I'm traumatized. I couldn't handle it. So it comes in, and what makes it so that it gets resisted? You. You have power in there. The experience comes in, it manifests in your mind, it manifests inside, the image inside, and you push it away. That's what Freud meant by suppression and repression and so on. Yogis dealt with that thousands of years ago. Freud was not the first person to talk about that stuff. You push it away from inside, and then where does it go? Where do you think it goes when you push it away? It stays in there. It blocks your mind, and it blocks your energy flow. And that's why you don't feel love all the time. And that's why you don't feel passion all the time. And that's why you don't feel inspiration all the time. People sit there and say, I need to find a job that inspires me. You don't want to say that to me. I mean, I hope you do. It's wonderful. What I'd rather have you do is be inspired by every single thing that ever happened to you. Every moment. I'd rather have you walk outside, God, there's a leaf. Whoa, wow. I told you, the sun, you get hot nowadays. So you're sitting there and the sun is shining and you're getting hot. Instead of resisting and fighting it and not liking it, you sit there and say, my God, that thing's 93 million miles away. And I feel its heat. And it's not a sun, it's a star. I feel the heat from being close enough to a star. Well, that'll blow you away, won't it? You're welcome to do that instead of resisting. You're welcome to do that with everything instead of resisting. Okay? You go into a relationship and it doesn't work well. You say, wow, did I learn a lot from that? That was great. Of course the divorce was ugly. They're supposed to be ugly. Huh? People conflict, but boy, did I grow. Boy, am I better. Are you better off getting a relationship with a divorcee or someone who's never been married? Well, it depends. If they learn from the experience, come on, bring it on, man. You already went through your dirty stuff, okay? Now you've learned how to not ruin a relationship. Now you've learned how to get along with people. Or if you've been in a relationship and got divorced, you're scarred for life. I don't deal with anybody again. Don't you dare act like that. He acted like that. No, now stay away from me. Okay. So basically you start to understand the reason you don't feel love all the time is not because there's not a person out there that makes you feel love. It's because you're blocked. How did you get blocked? You stored every bad experience that ever happened to you inside of you. Do they come back up? If you push them away, do they come back up tomorrow, a week from now, 3 weeks from now, a month from now, 10 years from now? They come back up. That's all. It's not hard to talk about spirituality. The only reason you're not feeling love all the time, ecstasy all the time, joy all the time, upward rushes of energy flowing constantly up inside of you to where you need to center and make sure you're not getting blown away while you interact with the world. That's where you're supposed to be. That is your natural state. Now, if you're not in that state, you have two choices. I'll get down to business. Because you suppress things, those things don't make you very happy. Those things cause you a problem. So if you go about your life to make sure those things don't happen again, and you succeed, you feel a little bit better. Because they're not hitting your stuff. You've also had experiences in your life that are good. You've had nice experiences. Not as many as bad, by the way. We can discuss why. It's so simple. We just don't pay attention. But I guarantee you, you have suppressed and held on to way more negative experiences than you have positive ones. But you have held on to positive ones. There have been moments that were positive, and you want them to happen again. If they start to happen again, you get turned on. If this person reminds you of your brother and you loved your brother, your first date, and he's just got little idiosyncrasies that were like your brother's, you like that person. If you didn't like your brother, you don't like that person. So you've got this stuff stored in there. That is why it is like a blockage. It is a blockage. That's why your energy, your spirit, can't flow freely inside, because it's got all this stuff on top of it. And so now what you have to do in order to feel an openness, to feel the flow of spirit, is get a situation outside that hits you just right so that you're willing to open. When you're open, you feel high. You feel wonderful. When you're closed, you don't. So you need a situation outside to compensate for this garbage you stored inside. Again, I'm making a statement to you. A real, truly spiritual being is always open. They never close. Never. No matter what happens, no matter what it is, they just let go. They let go. Anything that happens comes in and goes through, and then they deal with it if they need to deal with it. So why do you not feel that? Because you're blocked. Why are you blocked? Because you stored all the bad things that ever happened to you, all the disturbing things that ever happened to you inside of you. They're still there. You know they're still there. So now you have to build a life that avoids them and build a life that repeats the ones that you liked. I loved my vacation last year in Hawaii. Can we go back? what about all the other places you could go? Why do you think Hawaii is so special? Because you opened and had a nice experience. So now you want to have that experience again. What I want from you is to always be open, to have every moment of your life is like going to Hawaii, if you like Hawaii, or Alaska, or wherever you want to go. Every moment. You are capable of being completely open. You don't need experiences to be a certain way for you to feel love, passion, excitement, except that you're closed, and certain circumstances help to open you, and certain circumstances cause you to close. So now you can either spend your entire life trying to find circumstances that open you and avoid circumstances that close you, or you can get rid of blockages. What do you mean? If you get rid of your blockages, you don't have to do anything. Every moment of your life is ecstatic. All of it is love. You want to feel love? You wave your hand across your heart. Love comes pouring inside of you anytime, anywhere. It doesn't make any difference. You have learned to open. When you have an open heart, it feels love. So you don't need to do anything. You don't need to get anything. Doesn't mean you can't work with things. We'll talk about that at the end. But right now you think you need to get certain things to be okay. Well, I'm in a relationship and I'm married and I have children and I'm just not feeling close to my family. Well, that's because you're closed. You can feel ecstatic with any family you have. Don't tell anybody that, okay? It's like some people like cats. Some people like dogs. I have a neighbor now, I say he has a hog for a pet. I don't know if he lets it in the house or not, but I see the pig run around there. It's like, what makes that difference? Your openness. If you got bit by a dog when you're young, you're not a dog person. If you had a dog when you were growing up and it was your best friend, you just love dogs. Why do some people like cats and some people don't like cats? This thing about liking and not liking is all based on your blockages. What did psychology say? B.F. Skinner, psychologist. What did he say? Man is the sum of his learned experiences. Have you ever heard that? Yeah. A man is the sum of his learned experiences. Well, first of all, it's not true. You are the consciousness that's aware of the sum of your learned experiences. And you don't have to go with them. You can do whatever you want. You're the consciousness. You're all powerful inside. But your mind is programmed. Your psyche, your personality, your mind, your tendencies are programmed by the sum of your learned experiences. So basically, that's what we're talking about. Those are your blockages. Those are the things that you now have to manipulate the world to get them a way that matches the sum of your positive learned experiences and doesn't match the negative. So do you understand that I don't have to be the sum of my learned experiences? I'm not the sum of learned experiences. I'm the indwelling consciousness that if my sum of learned experiences says, I have to do this, I feel tendency to do this, I don't have to do it. Do I? So there is a psyche that is programmed with the sum of your learned experiences. And that's what you experience all the time. And since you're staring, again, back to what we're talking about, since your consciousness, which is infinitely God, divine, blissful, is staring at this psyche, and that's what you're doing, you're staring at the psyche that's saying, I need this, I can't be happy unless I have this, oh my God, I wish I could have that, I can't believe that happened to me, I'll never be okay because that's what you're staring at. You're staring at the sum of your learned experience. Okay, well then that's what you're going to feel. Because that's what you're identifying with. That's not who you are. All you have to do is turn around. You're in ecstasy. A person who's in depression, all they have to do is turn around. They won't be able to. But if they turn around and they're flooded with ecstasy and light, period, instantaneously. Why? They're no longer staring at their depression. Depression is something you stare at. Can you be depressed and in 1 second have something happen and all of a sudden you open up and, oh my God, I thought you were going to leave me. You're not? No, I was getting a present ready for... How long does it take to open? You're a great being. It never goes away. So basically, you're inside, your consciousness, you are, as Christ said, my Father and I are one. There it is, all the way down, shining in here, still pure God, period. Any energy inside, that's the divine. But it's staring at darkness. It's staring at your issues. And everybody's got different issues because they had different experiences. And that's why the world is a mess. Because the only way we know how to be okay is to get it the way we want. The only way I know how to be okay is to get the outside to be the way I want it to be. But none of us agree. There. It's cause of war, cause of divorces, cause of every single problem that ever existed in the history of the world. Well, why can't we agree? Because we all had different experiences. We all got programmed differently. So now I'm staring at this, you're staring at that, you're staring at that. Okay, and I'm not okay. Why? Because I'm staring at this garbage. I'm staring at the collection of my junk, and I'm saying the world has to be the way I want it to be for me to be okay. And it's true. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If the world happens to unfold the way I want it to, I open. How about you? But that's not because the world made you open. It's because you're closed, and here's a situation that fit your stuff. That's all that's happening. So if you want to, like I said before, you can spend your entire life running after what will open you and running away from what closes you, or you can go deeper. I can sit there and say, why am I not open all the time? That's what I want you to say. Not what do I need in order to open. Why am I not open all the time? I'm not open all the time because I close myself by collecting all this garbage of bad experiences inside of me. If you store inside of you everything that ever bothered you, how's it going to be in there? Bothered. And it is, isn't it? Look, isn't it funny? The Bible says that when you fall from the garden, and this is the fall from the garden, by the way, you're in the highest state and you fell all the way down into identifying with the body and with the mind, all right? What does it say when you're thrown out of the garden? Now man must work by the sweat of his brow. You're doing that, aren't you? In order to be okay, you got some work to do, don't you? You got to really push and try and fight and make sure you get your way. There's a whole thing in the, I don't know, 80s, be assertive. Be assertive. If you want to be okay, be assertive. Make sure you get what you want. And don't back off, ever. Just keep pushing and pushing till you get what you want. You'll get ulcers. That's what you'll get. I'm doing that. I'm practicing that. Why am I so tense? Why do I have so much anxiety? Give me a break. The answer is not that you're pushing outside to make the world be the way you want so you can be okay inside. The answer is to do the work inside to clean up. You can't carry all this garbage with you and expect to be okay. You can't sit there and think you're not worthy of love and have you always got hurt in relationships, but you'll find somebody that will overcome that. It ain't going to happen. Short term it will. It's like, oh my God, it's such a surprise. I feel so loved. Don't wait. Just wait a little bit. Let's see what happens. You'll find a way to ruin it, won't you? Come on. And don't say they ruined it. It's like somehow they surprised you. It was new. It had a novelty to it. And so you opened. But it's not going to stay open. That they teach you that. Well, there's this romantic puppy love. But don't think that relationships are like that. They're like that. You can feel ecstatic love all the time. Every time you see somebody, it's the same as when you first saw them. There's love. There's love if you're not blocking it and you're not expecting the other person to open you when you're closing you. You close yourself all the time. Then you expect the other person to open you, don't you? What does it mean when somebody says, what happened to your relationship? I thought you were so in love, and how come you broke up? Ready? It just wasn't working for me anymore. What does that mean? It wasn't working for you anymore? Yeah, I'm a mess. And I met this person. We bumped into each other in a grocery store. And it's like, wow, he or she was handsome and beautiful. And we were buying the same stuff. We noticed that in our cars. And I don't know, it just opened me. It was so much fun. Okay, very good. So basically, now it's not happening anymore. It's like boring that we buy the same stuff. You used to sit there and say, really, you sit there and say, we like the same things. We like to go to the same places. Then after a few years or whatever time it takes, it's like, it's boring. Nothing's new. It's just all the same. We go to the same places all the time. And it's just, I don't know. It's just not working for me anymore. Now, do you understand what that means? It means you're closed. And somehow this person, place, or thing caused you to open. And you say, that was working for me. It's not going to stay that way. There's a law of diminishing returns, you know. I went through economics, right? I learned that law. You do too. You learn it all the time. There's no such thing that something that turns you on will keep turning you on. There's a law of diminishing returns. You get used to it. Buy a new car every day. See how much it keeps turning you on. Move to a new house all the time. Every year buy a new house. It doesn't keep doing it. You get used to it. It doesn't open you. That's what it boils down to. It opened you because it distracted you from yourself. It distracted you from yourself. Move somewheres. During the new thing, it's new, it's novel, it's all this stuff, right? Then what's going to happen? You will end up with you when it's all said and done. It'll be the same person living there once it stops distracting you with its novelty items. And I'm talking about if you live in the country and move to New York, move to New York, move to the country. It'll do it for a while because it's new. And it distracts you. Distracts you from what? My junk that I have stored inside. It's not going to keep doing that, and you have no right to expect it to. So that's why you keep changing. That's why you keep having to move. That's why you keep having to get new relationships, keep having to do different things and change stuff. So your choice is, for the rest of your life, do I want to go out there and manipulate the world outside of me the way my mind decides? If it's that way, it'll turn me on. Where did your mind get that idea? Because it has all these blockages inside, and you're trying to offset them. I don't know whether you really hear it at the level. Do you know that? If you got married, all my exes live in Texas. So if you got married in Texas, you had a bad relationship, and you got out of there, and you moved to New York, you moved somewhere. I'm telling you, just hearing the word Texas bothers you. Would you like to go? Where are we going? Out to California. Do we have to drive through Texas? Can we go around? But it's true. It's funny. When you watch, you'll see it. You have this tendency to let these inside stored things from the past determine what you like and what you don't like. So either you run after that so that temporarily it will compensate for your blockage, or you do this work. It's called the work, spiritual work. Get rid of the blockages. No. Yes. If you get rid of the blockages, and it's not all at once, to whatever degree you release these blockages and don't take on new ones, you will be happier. Why? Because happiness is this flow of energy. It's this warm, beautiful energy that flows inside, isn't it? So love isn't having somebody you're attracted to in front of you. Love is feeling that beautiful, warm energy pour through your heart and go out toward the person in front of you. You like that, don't you? Ever been there? Ever been in the presence of somebody that, even for a moment, you just feel this love pour out of your heart? That is Shakti. That is God. That is the light that came down. It's pure spirit finding its way out. The trouble is, if that person says one thing you don't like, it stops. Or wears a hat you don't like, or talks to somebody who you don't like. You're pretty sensitive, aren't you? That's because you have all this stuff in here. It doesn't have to be like that. It's that simple. You're capable of cleaning up in there. You just have to decide that's what my life's about. It's not about finding what I want and keeping it and trying to keep them attracted to me. It's about cleaning up inside so that I can feel the beautiful energy that's my natural state. And that's just the start. Before we finish, I'll take you much higher than that. That's not very high, by the way. What? Feeling beautiful energy flowing inside of you so that you feel happy all the time and you're always enthused. There's much higher than that. You're a very great being. This is a very great life you've been given. It's not about begging and praying to get what you want so you can feel okay. It's about getting rid of why you don't feel okay. That's a whole different thing. So how do you do that? The new book goes into in great detail, Living Untethered. You're welcome to read it. But the result is it's very simple. Let's start with don't take new things on. The old ones, I know they're habits. It's hard to deal with. I don't want you dealing with that. I don't want you going down there and thinking you're divorced. No. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Just today, starting right now, don't take on any more. Don't take on any more. Stop resisting. Stop resisting the daily experiences that you're having. And then you will stop taking on more. But what if somebody says something to me that's not nice? Handle it. What do you mean? Don't say I can't handle it. Say I can handle it. That's a very good mantra, by the way. I can handle this. I can handle this. I can handle this. Really nice mantra. Have it go on all the time inside of you, no matter what happens. But somebody says something, disses you. I can handle this. It's just words. 7.5 billion people on the planet Earth. Look how many didn't diss me. Why should I expect... Okay, we're out of time. I wish we could do a full, long talk here. All right? Why should I expect that the world unfolding in front of me is the way I want it to be? Seriously. I didn't make it. Right? There's 8 billion forces that happened through all of time and space that made you be the way you are. And I don't just mean you with your personality, your genetics, your grandparents, all that worked in it, plus every experience you ever had. Now, why should I expect that you're going to be the way I want you to be? You're going to be the way that all these forces, plus whatever you worked on yourself, whatever it is, it's the sum. How about this? You think you're the sum of your learned experiences. The moment in front of you is the sum of its learned experiences. If you're a scientist, you understand what I just said. It's the result of every single thing that ever happened for 13.8 billion years, all coming together, plus all the laws of science and all the laws of psychology and all the events. That's what's in front of me, isn't it? But it should be the way I want. No, it should not. I tell you what, it should be the way it is. And so basically to come into this moment and say, I'm going to manipulate this moment to make it be the way I want, all the moments, by the way. Well, don't be busy with this one, because here comes the next one, here comes the next one, here comes the next. Have fun. Okay? I want everyone to like me. Everyone? Even the people you don't know? You see, laugh. No, you mean that. You mean that. If you find out that somebody over in Afghanistan thinks poorly of you, because they saw your picture somewhere on the web, you don't like that, do you? We're insane. All right? And then you expect to be okay. So you start with saying, I swear, this is your spiritual path. This is good enough. This will do the whole thing, right? Today, I'm not taking on any more. Now that you know what it means to take on more, resist. I'm not going to resist reality. So what's going to happen is going to come in, and you're going to tend to resist it. Just work on that. You work on that. I teach you to relax. Say the affirmation. I can handle this. I can handle this. Anybody ever say something not nice to you that caused you a problem? Let's just spend one moment. Bear with me. What does it mean if somebody says something not nice to you? Okay, Buddhists say work at the root. So let's work at the root. First of all, what does it mean they say? Well, I have these vocal cords, and they can make little sounds. Did you notice that? They can make lots of different sounds. And I decided that a particular sound it makes, I don't like you, that's the sound it made. So it made that sound. I don't like you. It's the sound your vocal cord makes. Come on. Do you understand? And you are so brilliant. And we agreed so much. Don't say we're not agreeable. We agreed so much that you know what I meant when I made the noise. Wow, we must be pretty close. And you just sit there and take it like that. Like, isn't that neat? We can communicate. Doesn't matter what was said. Like, if you go to Mars and they go, and you learn their language, that's pretty neat. So it doesn't matter. They said go to hell. The Martian told me to go to hell. Wow, isn't that neat? You can be like that. You are allowed to be happy. You're allowed to have fun. You're allowed to take everything in a positive, exciting way. You don't have to take it personal. You don't have to resist it. So what happens? Somebody sits there and says something to you, you take it that way, comes in, and just say, that's neat. It's neat. You have the right not to like me. I once taught, and it's important, you're here with a group of friends, and there's somebody coming up in a distance across the road, and you say to your friend, oh my God, he loves me. Oh my God, wait till you see he's going to come over here. He just dotes all over me. It's embarrassing. It's really beautiful. What do you see? Okay. Now, he goes by, says all these nice things, and there's somebody else walking up there and said, oh my God, there's Harry. He hates my guts. Wait till you see. He's going to come up here. He will diss me. He will say every mean thing that could possibly happen. Wait, it's so exciting. Now you made it. You got there. That's like, what do you care? What do you care? You care because you're blocked and you need things to be a certain way outside in order for you to be okay inside. If someone had come up to you, remember there was a show called Become a Millionaire, something like The Millionaire. And you come up and, okay, so somebody walked up to you before you're standing there and Harry showed up and said, someone's going to show up that hates your guts. And if you can handle it, I'm going to watch. If you can handle it, they come and say these mean things. It's an actor that they say these mean things to you, you get $10 million. And when that person walks over there and starts saying those things to you, you would bliss out. You get all excited. You can do anything you want in there. You're the only one in there. That's your house. You make it any way you want. What you did is you didn't pay attention. They didn't teach you this in school, did they? So you started collecting all these bad things. So today, start with one day, I am not taking on any more. That's all. I can handle whatever happens today, whatever passes through my eyes, into my ears. I can handle life. Is that too scary? Doesn't seem impossible, does it? That's why you meditate. That's why you do mantra. That's why you do spiritual practices. So you can stay conscious enough to be able to do what we just talked about. Why do they call them practices? They call them practices, don't they? Did you do your practices today? What are you practicing for? This. And so you sit there and you say, I am going to handle what happens to me today. And you're going to find out that you're much happier. You find out, hey, this is a fun day. How'd you do today? Great. Because you didn't store more stuff. Well, why don't we try tomorrow too? And then just do it every day of your life. Well, what will happen with the stuff I already put in there? Because you learned to handle the moments of today, you became a greater, accepting, open being. When the other stuff comes up from the past, you'll find out it doesn't have all the power it did because you learned how to accept. So, okay, this is not something that happened today. It's something that happened last year. I'm okay with it. I can do the same thing. I can relax through it. I can let go. I can say I can handle. Ooh, how would you like to say I can handle this? And every single thing that you ever stored in there starts coming back up. Now you're growing. This is the meaning of your life to do this. And you're going to find that if you do this, that every day is nicer. Of course it's nicer. That you're more comfortable with people because they can't hurt you. Why? Because I can handle anything. I can handle anybody. I can handle any situation. I can handle anything. How would you like to be like that? As opposed to, I can't handle things, therefore I have to make them be the way I want. All right. If you do this, you will open and you'll feel the energy. What energy? Spirit. Shakti, God, Chi, call it whatever you want. That's all you have to do. is handle every moment of every day, and then handle the stuff when it comes back up, and you'll cleanse. And all of a sudden, torrents of energy are underneath there, will come up to feed you. So I said I would finish with the great ones. At some point, it gets up so high that it's not about being okay. It's about you're so okay that it's pulling you up into it. It's beyond the hug that was so beautiful. It's beyond winning the lottery. It's that high. And you'll literally feel that it's pulling you up into it. You're drowning into it. You're being pulled up into it. And you'll resist because it's like dying to be reborn. I think somebody once said that. It's literally, you feel like, oh my God, I have to let go of myself. I want to see what's up there. I want to see the source. And all of a sudden, you just let go. And the great ones, like Meher Baba said, my consciousness was like a drop of water. It was busy looking at me. When I let go completely, that drop fell into the ocean. Find it. My father and I are one. Christ taught the great teachings. He was a great yogi. And basically, you're capable of literally falling back into the source of your consciousness. And that's what enlightenment is. And that's where the great ones went. And you are absolutely capable of that, period. You don't have to beg for things to be the way you want. You're way beyond that. But you have to be willing to let go of this stuff that you're stored inside. It's so funny. I'm a nice Jewish yogi. And I always say this. I read the Bible once in my life in 1971. But when I teach, the words come back. So if I say to you, you're capable of that state, what did Christ say? He said, as I sit by the throne of my Father, which is a state of consciousness, so you sit by my throne. And these things that I do, you should do these and even greater things. Isn't that what we just talked about? You're a great being. You're capable of the highest possible states, but you're down here begging for things to be the way you want. You don't have to be like that. All right. Work on these things. Jagrative.